Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. We are outside today in the back of the house doing a couple of things, and I thought I would turn on the camera and take you along with me so you can hang out with me in the garden in the back of the house. So if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I am in Tennessee in zone 7B, and for those that come every time over and over again, thank you so much for being a part of this community. So y'all, I'm hanging out in the back of the house doing a few things, but on this video primarily we're going to talk about installing some drip irrigation in raised beds. This is the last place on the homestead where we are actually installing drip, and it is long overdue. But I want to talk about drip installation or irrigation, and then also we're going to do some stuff with the green stalks. We're actually going to harvest some stuff out of the green stalks and keep them percolating and all that good stuff. But let's first start off with, I want to show you something in the raised beds that has me a little puzzled. First time I've ever seen this, because there's always something new when you're on this gardening journey. I think I know what it is. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I just don't know why it happened. So let's go take a look. So y'all, in the back of my house, I have 5 raised beds. Those 2 right there are full of onions. And then the very last 3 are is garlic. So let's go over here and let me show you what's going on with my onions. Y'all see that right there? Look at this. My onions are bolting. I have never, ever had my onions bolt. And that just makes me sad. Like, I really don't need you to bolt. But yeah, that's what this is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I know that's what it is. It's no sense of me even pretending like I don't know. So let's talk about it. So I've grown onions for the past 4 years, and I've never, ever had my onions bolt. This is the first time. I came out here last week, and I'm like, what is that with my onions? Like, what is this thing on top of my onions? And I was like, surely they're not bolted, because they never have. And so I went and researched, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And so, of course, when it comes to bolting, that usually is caused by temperature fluctuations, like going from hot to cold, and the plant gets confused, like, oh, is it summer? Like, is it time for me to end my cycle? And then it starts to bolt. And what happens is, Lexi, I don't know why Lexi and Max feel like they got to talk as soon as I get on the video. I'm going to have to do y'all like we used to do kids back. Like, y'all go to y'all separate places. You stay here, you stay over there. Okay, so as I was saying, on the onions and the bolting. So when bolting happens, basically the plant is trying to go back to seed. So at the top, what you see is actually forming a flower. And once it forms a flower, the seeds will be there. So it's just a cycle. It goes from seed, you know, all the way back to seed again. That is the cycle of plant life. But I don't want it to go to... I don't want it to go bolting, because once it starts to bolt, it actually stops producing as big. So that means I won't get as big of an onion, technically, is what happens when it starts to bolt. And so when I was reading on Google, it was saying to go ahead and harvest your onions now, but I don't want to. Like, technically, they have about, I would say, another 30 days before they're ready to harvest. Usually, onions take about 90 days, and I think the 90th day is right around the end of the last week of May, the first part of June, for these onions right here. So let me just take you off the camera. Let me just show you what's going on, but then let me show you the other bed as well. So you can see it close up there, and it's not on all of them, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And so then if you see the onions in the ground, you can see they're bulbing up. That's relatively small, but they are starting to bulb up when you kind of move the dirt from around them. So will we still have onions? Yes, but they won't be nearly as big as those that don't bolt and flower. So this one has not bolted. Let's just see. It hasn't quite started bulbing up yet. But then this bed right here, which was planted at the exact same time, you can see here, this bed looks relatively okay. And then I just saw one starting right there. There's one right there, one right there, one right there, one there. That literally just happened in the last 2 or 3 days. This right here has been like this for about a week. But this actually just started, because I was like, why is this bed not bolting? It was planted at the exact same time. But you can see here, And let's check some bulbing on this. Let's see. They're just now starting to bulb up. Y'all, we don't want onions that size. We want onions that are like real big deal bulb size is what we want. Y'all let me know how has this happened to you. And then over here is our garlic. And now look at all these mushrooms in my bed. I hate that. And it's because it's been raining so much. So much that mushrooms are actually growing in the bed. Oh my goodness, y'all, look. I just saw this. The garlic scapes are here. Look at that. Y'all, that just happened over the weekend. There's one. And then I see another one right there. Unbelievable, because I came out here looking last week and I didn't see any. Let's see if there's any over here. Unbelievable. Okay, I don't see any over here. But y'all, that is a scape right there. That is wild. So wild. And then there's another one. I don't see any more as of yet. Okay, so let's start with the onions first. So on the onions, obviously you don't want them to bolt because they're not, technically they're really not done with their life cycle, because I need them to get bigger and bulb up and be nice big onions like I have had in the past. But when it comes to temperature fluctuations, that's one thing that you can't control is the weather. And that is sometimes what causes the bolting is extreme temperature fluctuations. And when I thought about it, I mean, we have had some extreme temperature fluctuations. We have had as high as, I would say, 85. And then for the past 2-3 days, it has been 60 as the high. And it got down to 45 to 48 the last 2 nights. So that is definitely an extreme in temperature. Also, we have had an extreme amount of rain over the last 2 weeks. And I'm talking like a deluge, like a monsoon of rain, not like just sprinkles every day. Like it has been coming down like nonstop. That's why the soil is so moist, because I have not watered it in probably a week and the soil is moist. But what's interesting is that it's not every onion that's like that. Like the whole bed does not have the bulb, and I pray and hope that the other ones don't get it. But then I just start seeing it in the second bed, and I see like 3 or 4 of them that have it, but the rest of them don't. So I'm hoping and praying that they are okay. I just went and checked my phone. I actually planted these onions back here on February the 25th. So 90 to 100 days is usually the sweet spot of when I pull the onions. So they have at least another 3 to 4 weeks where they need to bulb up really, really nicely. So let's just all touch and agree that these onions will stop the the bolting process. Now on the garlic, I'm surprised to see the garlic scapes because I've been looking for them, but I figured they would probably be here in the next couple of weeks. But I see 2 with scapes. But usually, so if you don't know what a garlic scape is, if you're planting hard neck garlic, it sends up a scape, which is that part that I showed you. You can harvest that scape and you can use that and chop it up, and you can actually make pesto with it. You can use it in your dishes for garlic. You can grind it up to have like garlic scape powder. It is absolutely wonderful. It's considered like a culinary delight when you have garlic scapes. Now, if you grow soft neck garlic, it does not put up a scape. Only the hard neck garlic does that. And once you see the scape, usually the garlic is ready to harvest about 2 to 3 weeks after that. So that is interesting, which is, I mean, kind of right on time. Again, this garlic has been in the ground. I got to go back and check my notes, but I think I planted it in October. And typically I harvest my garlic the last part of May, first part of June. So it's right on the same timetable as the onions, although they've been in the ground since October. The onions have been in the ground since the last week of February. But seeing the scape is a positive sign that we are almost on our way to harvesting garlic. So I'll have to do a separate video when I'm harvesting the garlic scapes. I want to get more of them, but you want to get the garlic scape when it's fairly early on. You don't want it to get so long and thin. Like right now, matter of fact, I am going to harvest those 2 because if you let them go too long, they will get tough and woody and they don't taste. Y'all, why? Do you see Lexi? Lexi need Jesus, y'all. Yes, you do. So the garlic scape, I'm going to go ahead and harvest it Again, you want to get it when it's young and tender. And again, it is absolutely wonderful. So I did not know that my first year growing garlic. They were out there. I didn't know what they were. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just part of the plant. And so I didn't get them. But if you're growing hardened garlic, do not miss the opportunity to get your garlic scapes. So what we're going to do next is we're going to actually harvest some stuff out of the green stalks. So they can keep, percolating and going. You want to make sure that you keep your stuff harvested, because again, that can be another reason why things bolt, is if they're not being harvested. So for example, if you have like lettuce or cilantro or something in your garden or spinach, and you are not harvesting it and cutting it, it's thinking like, oh, we're done. I don't need to produce anymore. But the more you harvest, the more it will grow. So let's go out here and let's go harvest some stuff from our green stalks. First, let's go ahead and harvest our garlic scape. So basically, I'm just cutting this part right here. It is soft and tender. And where is the other one? I saw it. I know I did. Oh, here it is. Oh, let me tell you something else about the garlic. There's one growing there. I'll let that get a little bit bigger. The other reason you want to get your garlic scapes is because it also signals to the garlic plant to stop producing the scape or the flower and to put more production on actually making the bulb bigger. So that's another reason why you want to come out here and get your garlic scapes. You don't want to just let them sit and get tall and woody, because when that happens, the garlic is putting more energy into growing the scape than it is bulbing up. So that's another reason why to get your scapes. But let's go over here to the green stalks and let's see what we can harvest. So the first thing is we have quite a bit of parsley that we can get. So let me set my basket down. We're going to just take this down and give it a haircut. Just like that. And then I have some parsley, some more. Oh, it smells so good. I got some more parsley in another one. So we're gonna get all the parsley at one time. And then you can see I cut it back pretty far. So you and I will watch it grow back together. And this is Italian parsley right here. So let me get my basket. And let's see if I got any more parsley. That's cilantro. Okay. We got some more parsley right here. Let's do this one. Again, if you're brand new and you don't know what a green stalk is or what I'm getting this lovely food from, green stalk is a vertical gardening container system. You can use my code for an extra $10 off. My code is LFF10. But I have plenty of videos on GREENSTALK. You can go back and watch the one that I did on last week when I talked about container gardening. I went over the different kinds of GREENSTALK. But basically, they have a vertical gardening system. And this is the leaf. It has 7 tiers with 6 pockets on each tier. So it's a total of 42 pockets. It has, the pockets are 7 inches. And then the other one that I just harvested from is actually the original, which is 10-inch deep pockets. 5 tiers, 30 pockets total. But y'all, you can see, look how much parsley I got from 2 pockets, just like that. So if I needed parsley for a quick meal to dress some potatoes, or just, an Italian dish or whatever, this is more than enough, because you don't usually put this much parsley on one dish. But I can freeze dry this, which is what I'll do, and I'll turn it into parsley flakes is what I typically do. You can use this and freeze this and use it for juicing. It has great anti-inflammatory properties. There's so much that you can do with it. But y'all, we literally grew this in 2 pockets, and you know what? It's gonna grow back. I cut it real deep. It's gonna grow back. Let me see if I got parsley anywhere else. So that way we just get everything that's alike. Yep, I got some more parsley right here. Just like that. Just like that. I'm just checking. You can see I've been on the lettuce. I've been harvesting lettuce. I think I harvested lettuce twice last week just for dinner alone. Okay, I think that's all the parsley we have. Let's go on to the next crop. Okay, y'all, next I have some chives. that are long overdue to be harvested. Move out of the way, Max. You can see the chive and the chive blossoms. So that's long overdue to get a haircut. This will be my second harvesting of chives already. I harvested quite a bit from the tunnel. So let me get this long one right here. And then this right here is, what is this? This is lemon thyme, which I absolutely love. We definitely want this to grow some more. So we're gonna harvest some of this as well. Oh, this right here is spearmint. I want to dry this for tea. And you know, mint, is it spearmint? Yeah, it's spearmint. I'm gonna dry this to put in tea. Look at that. It smells so good. It smells like a good old stick of chewing gum. It smells so good. Look at that. Oh, it smells just like the spearmint. This is my first time growing spearmint. I've done other kinds of mint, but I've never done spearmint. I actually bought this at a nursery. And you know, mint is invasive, so you want to always have it in a container. So it's going to be contained here in this GREENSTALK. It smells so good, but I think this will be good to have it dried and stuff. Like I said, for tea. What else do we want to get? Oh, we got to go back and get our lemon thyme. Let me get another basket. This is our little table right here, y'all. We got our parsley. My table is sinking in. Okay, let's get a basket for our thyme. So, and this smells so good too. Lemon thyme. Oh, y'all, it's intoxicating. It smells so good. If you never grown lemon thyme, get your hands on something. If you didn't grow it from seed, then go to your local nursery. Oh, I could smell this all. It is one of my favorite smelling herbs. It just, oh, I need to find something else to do with this. I wonder what else I can do with it. Like, besides using it for, like, culinary purposes. I just feel like this would be good, like, in a soap or something. Your hands will smell just so clean and, and fresh. Y'all put in the comments what you do with your lemon thyme. Let me know. I just feel like I want to do something else with it. More stuff with it. So we got the lemon thyme. Let's get a little bit more. Okay. And then we have some sage. We'll get. Smells just like sage. The oregano, we'll let that percolate some more. Got the chamomile. Let's see. Oh, I got more mint I can get. Now let's go over to our third GREENSTALK and see if there's anything over here to harvest. Y'all look, I got a flower on my tomato. Can you see that? Right there? Okay, I don't think there's anything over here we want to harvest just yet. Okay, and then I know we don't have anything at our second one. Excuse me, our fourth one, because we just put that stuff in there. Okay, so let's go see what we got. So we have some sage and lemon thyme. We have a whole basket of parsley. And then we have a whole basket of spearmint and some chives. When I tell y'all the smells of this stuff is so, it smells so good. It's about to go in my house and my house is going to smell like a herb. Like I'm really throwing down in the kitchen. That's what it's going to smell like. If somebody were to come in, they're going to be like, girl, what you doing? Nothing. All I did was harvested my herbs. And so I'm going to freeze dry most of this. So that way I probably will freeze dry. Let Let me think about this. Yeah, I'm going to freeze dry the parsley, the sage, and the lemon thyme. And then that'll be used later on probably to make more Italian seasoning. And then the spearmint I'm going to freeze dry. The chives I'll probably chop and freeze whatever I don't use fresh. So, okay, y'all. 3 baskets. And that was literally just for my GREENSTALK. We didn't go to the garden at all. We just went to the GREENSTALK and got, oh, y'all, we got rosemary. I didn't even see that. Hold on. Y'all, we got rosemary. That's like saying, come get me. Y'all, look at all this rosemary. Right here. In this 2 feet of space. I freeze dry my rosemary too. Hold on. You know rosemary smells good. Oh, so good. So very good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. Okay, let's see. Hard to get this branch right there. Okay, got it. You got the rosemary, you got the sage, you got the lemon thyme. That will make it probably a good Tuscan seasoning too. Oh, y'all, fresh herbs. What can be better? Y'all, you get those little packs from the store. That is like a joke. Those little clear plastic packs that be over in the produce section, they're like $5 for literally like 2 leaves of basil. Don't do that. Grow your own. Grow your own. Okay, y'all, let's go talk about this drip. Okay, y'all, so we're talking, I want to talk to you about drip irrigation, specifically for the raised beds that we're doing out here. So if you've been following us, you know that we did not start off with drip irrigation. We actually started off with what most people do, just a hose pipe, right? We would just manually water our raised beds. And then the next step we went to after that was like more of a sprinkler system. So in our in-ground garden by the tunnel, where we have everything in ground, we would set up sprinkler stations and we would have it on a timer and then it would just come on. So that was one step above manual, which that worked out until it didn't. And so it works out really good when you're using a sprinkler system when your plants are small. But once your plants start to get bigger, it's very hard for them to get watered the proper way and to get watered thoroughly. So as we were in the in-ground garden, we have 7 rows of stuff and the sprinklers were in place. As things were starting to get taller on some rows, it was hitting the leaf and just staying kind of on that row and not really going all the way across just because it had further to travel and it was hitting up against the leaves. So that was not necessarily a good solution as the season went on later and later and later. So we finally installed drip. I think we've been on drip. This is probably our third year on drip. And let me tell you, drip is a time saver. A huge time saver. Now, I was intimidated by drip, and I don't know why I was intimidated because I was never going to do it anyway. But you know how you want to feel good about something before you do it. And I'm thinking, it just seems so, I don't know, so out of my league. And so, like, that's what the professionals use. Y'all, this is what a home gardener needs. It's not just for the professionals. And my husband is the one that has done all of our drip. Like I said, I was never going to do it. So I don't know why I was intimidated. But he's the one that has done it. He said it's relatively easy. So we did drip first in the high tunnel, and then we did it in the outside garden. And so everything out there is on drip. The very last place was these raised beds out here. And really, y'all, it just hasn't been much of a priority because y'all know we do most of our gardening in the high tunnel. We garden in there 24/7, 365 days a year. The summer garden is a huge space. So that had the second priority because it's a large space. And it was literally taking me an hour and a half to water the garden in the summer. And y'all know you just don't have that amount of time. So drip is the way to go. But back here, we have 5 raised beds. This is where my garden started, and it has never been on drip. It's been on the list. We bought the kit. We've had the kit for over a year. But this was a good time for us to do it because I call this like the sweet spot. This is the spot where you've planted your summer garden, but it has not started yet producing. So you have like a 2 or 3 week, not downtime, but you have more time on your hands just because you don't have a harvest yet. And so this is the perfect time for us to install the drip. And because we did not show it on video for the other 2 times, I thought today we would actually show you how to install. Well, I'm not going to show you. the camera gonna show you, my husband gonna tell you how to install this drip in the raised bed. So let's go here and take a look. Okay, so my husband's gonna try to explain this for a beginner.
Yeah.
Is it hard, honey?
It's not hard at all. Literally, it's not hard at all. Every drip system has to have a main line. And so you lay down a main line, which is normally bigger than everything else. And then off that main line, you have what I call tributaries, or lines running off that main line that are smaller, that helps build pressure. And that's where the drip comes in. And so you run it along the lines of the plants. And this really works much better than a sprinkler system where the leaves get wet. Sometimes they turn yellow because they're getting too much water on the leaf and the root is not getting enough water. So with the drip, of course, it gets the water right at the root. And so the plant just is generally much healthier. And it's much easier. You don't have to stand around for an hour or more, just spraying and spraying and spraying, making sure that it gets good and wet. So let me just show you. Here for the raised beds, now it's big. This main line is bigger in the outside garden or in the high tunnel, but for the raised beds, even the main line is a little smaller than normal. And so you run this along all the beds. We have 5 out here, and this main line runs along every bed all the way to the end of the 5th bed. And at every bed, we have what are called lines or tributaries coming off this main line. And so all you do is take a little knife, if you don't have the proper tool, and just make a small little hole, and you put this little thing inside that pops inside there, that gives you the ability to add a line to it. When we get up here, we have these little elbows, so it can come over the side of the bed. And this line here in the bed is the actual drip line. And so in that drip line, every so many inches is something in the line that allows it to drip and not collapse.
It's a hole, right?
It's a hole in it. But I believe with that hole, it's a piece of metal that keeps it from collapsing. And so every so many inches, you have a hole or a drip where it just while the water is on, it just drips water right outside the plant down into the soil, and getting the soil sufficiently wet so that the roots can draw the water and they can stay healthy. That's really all there is.
Okay, the main line, where did it come? Where did it start? And is it connected to like a spigot or?
Yes, so the main line is connected to a water hose, and they send you all the different connections so that it can hook to a water hose. After that water hose, they have a filter, so that anything coming through the water line doesn't get stuck in the main line. So there's a filter to keep trash out of the line. And so after that filter, literally, it lays along the ground, and you just run it along wherever you want the lines to come off this main line and go into the raised bed.
And so where do you cut it and stop it, or?
Yeah, so at the end, they send you a plug.
Oh, to plug
so that you can put the plug in and screw it in so that no water will run out the end of it, so it helps it keep pressure. So when the water comes on, it fills the line and it stops, and then the water comes up the other lines and waters the bed.
So if this was the last bed, you would have stopped the main line right there and put a plug on at the end.
At the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long is the main line that they sent you?
The main they normally ask you what size is your bed.
Okay.
4x8 are the size of our beds, how tall they are, and then they ask you how many you have. And so the kit that we bought was designed to cover a certain number of beds.
Okay, so you had to put in all that information.
I put all that information in, and they said, this is the kit you need.
Okay.
So then we ordered that kit, and it comes with everything you need to make this work. So I don't have to figure out what size main line I need, how long drip lines I need, how many connectors I need. Everything came in the kit to put it together and make it work. And then it comes with good instructions, so you don't really have to guess. And on top of the instructions, you could call them. They have a number you can call. Most every company we've dealt with, they have a number you can call and ask for help, and they'll walk you through every step of the way. They provide videos. So it's really something the average person can do with no complications, no hiccups. at all. And so the other thing that you need to hook to it is a timer. After you hook a timer to it, you really don't have to do anything else. At a certain time, it'll come on and turn off. And once you do that, it can water in the morning, in the evening, just the morning, just evening, and keep everything watered just like you want. And then on days where, like for here, it's been raining non-stop. So we don't need the drip to work right now. You can just go to the timer and push a button and keep it from coming on. And then when it stops raining, turn the drip back on and it keeps it watered sufficiently. I wouldn't go back to anything else after doing drip. Not watering by hand, not watering with a sprinkler system. Once you put this in, you will never go back. And you'll wonder why you waited so long.
Okay, thank you, honey. Now, y'all, he is right about that. Once you go drip, I'm telling you, it is such a time saver. Such a time saver. Imagine, again, we have a lot of garden space that we're doing here. And so imagine taking an hour and a half every day in the summertime to water the garden. That's time that I can't harvest. There's time that I can't cook. There's time that I can't pick. There's like that time I get back because I'm on drip. And y'all know this is not my full-time gig. This is like my side, my second business, right? So I need all the time that I can get, and I try to be as efficient as possible. And so this right here, in terms of this getting done, is going to save me even more time, because before he gets all the drip installed, this was the only space that I had to physically come out and water, except my pots or things that are in containers in the high tunnel. Even my green stalks, I have an automatic watering system for my green stalks. Now, I don't have it hooked up right now because they haven't been used until this spring or something. Because in the fall and winter, we don't use our green stalks because we have plenty of space to grow everywhere else. But I have an automatic watering system. But I haven't even turned it on yet because it's been raining so much I haven't had to. But when we go out of town for an extended period of time, I'll turn on the automatic watering system. So really, y'all, back here was the only place outside of my containers in my tunnel that had to be watered. And so now with this on drip, I really only have to think about watering my containers. Now, another thing that my husband said, which is absolutely true, and again, I'm going to say this. I hesitate to say because I don't want you to think that if you're doing it this way that your plants are going to die and all that. But it is better to water your plants at the root level than to water your leaves. That is absolutely the truth. Now, have I done it the other way? Yes, I told you that I have. That's how we started out. But when you talk about ideal, you want to water at the source, which is the root. And when you are using a manual hose pipe and when you are using sprinklers, you are watering the leaves. Now, obviously, the water is going to trickle to the roots, but it creates more susceptibility to disease when you're watering the leaves, especially when it comes to tomatoes and things like that. You don't want the leaves wet. That's where the disease comes in and all of that, and things can start to set in. So ideally, you want to water at the root. So even if you have a manual hose pipe and you're currently watering that way right now, I would say just be mindful and be intentional and try to focus your sprayer at the root than versus the leaves. And again, I always hesitate to say that because I'm always trying to present gardening that anybody can do it, because I believe that you can, with no matter what budget you have and what tools you have. Again, there is an ideal that works 100% like the best, but there are all these other ways below the ideal where you can still grow food. So that's why I always hesitate to talk about it in that way, because I don't want to give you an excuse to say, well, I don't have drip, I can't afford drip, so my plant's not going to grow because I'm watering with a hose pipe. No. They will still grow. They will still grow. Why? Because food wants to grow. Seeds want to grow. That is the deal. So if you guys have questions about the drip, let me know. I will try to take a picture and find the kit that we have. So if in case you want to buy the exact same one, we're not affiliated with them, but my husband talked to him, he ordered it, and literally, y'all, we've had this kit for over a year. It has been sitting in our garage just because we haven't had time to get it done. But that's what's going on with that. So let me give you a closer shot so you can see like the lines and stuff, and let me also talk to you about knowing how many lines to put into your raised bed. So guys, if you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he put 5. I don't know why I thought it was 4. So basically he mirrored what I have, because in this bed there's onions and I have 5 rows of onions. So he mirrored what I have in the beds. And so that's basically what I was going to say, that you're going to put in as many lines as you need for how many rows you normally plant in your beds. If you normally plant floor, then you could put 4 drip lines. Now, it's not going to hurt me to have 5 lines, because if for some reason, when I take this crop out and put a new one in there, I can still not use that 5th line. Like, let's just say I only have 4 rows, then that 5th line is going to drip, but it's just going to provide more water to the bed. So that's not going to be a big deal. I'd rather have more than not enough, because I have one bed in my tunnel right now that has 3 drips instead of 4, and that row where I have the 4th one, I have to remember to manually water it because it's not on drip. We just haven't had time to add the other line. But you can see here, this bed has, this one only has 3, honey. You gonna put another one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically you can see how they look in the bed. And let me see if you can see that hole. That's basically, it comes already pre-cut with the hole. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like right in there. Also, y'all, I wanted to point out, you can see that these clips, this is to keeping the main line in the ground to secure it. Otherwise, your line would move. And so they send you all this in the kit. So that's a bigger clip. Then you can see right here are some smaller clips. That's what you would use for the drip lines that are a little bit smaller. But let me take you over here and show you the box of the company where we got this from. So this is the kit that we have, DripWorks garden bed kit, medium. Again, it says it has everything you need to water up to 9 beds that are 4 by 8. So we have 5 beds. So that means we'll still have this left to do. And so what I'll probably do is I'll use the rest of it down at the tunnel where I have my new raised bed set up out there on the perimeter of the outside garden. Okay, y'all, so I've shown you the box, so you can definitely reach out and use them. Like I said, we're not affiliated with them at all, but my husband, like I said, he's talked to them. He's done all of that legwork, and he's very pleased with what he bought. So, y'all, it's been a good day. Y'all, I was feeling kind of meh before I came outside, but I'm feeling good now. Y'all, we harvested 3 little small baskets of herbs from our GREENSTALK. Y'all, that was like 4 pockets. I got how many pockets left? I got 100 and some pockets left. So yes, and then we showed you how to do the drip. So let me know if you have any questions about the drip. I'll make sure that my husband come into the comments and he can answer your questions about the drip, because you don't want me answering them. You don't want me answering them. I know my lane. I stay in it and I run my lane, which is gardening. But y'all, thank you so much for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel so that you can see all the things that we're going to be doing this summer in the garden. You do not want to miss it. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.